Welcome, climate viewers, to another Sunday chat. This is Jim Lee from ClimateViewer News at ClimateViewer.com, and we're going to get some updates on the geoengineering lawsuit. Some of you may remember that about a month ago, I posted a video, Worldwide Geoengineering Lawsuits Landmark Case. Well, I've been in contact with Reinette Senum, Nikki Florio, and their legal team. We did about an hour and a half discussion with the lawyer, and there have been some updates to that. And in the meantime, put out a video about electric and nanoparticle weather control, whether it's actually control. I hope you guys check that out. And my boy Dominic made a nice little short out of that. We're going to show that real quick. But we're going to get into what is Make Sunsets, who the heck is Luke Eisman, and did he really fill out a weather modification report to NOAA to basically modify the weather on a worldwide basis for 200 years? All that and more today, plus your phone calls. The phone number is in the chat. I have not opened the phone lines yet. That's why you're not seeing that at this point. But when I do open the lines up, you will see the number up here at the bottom of the screen like this. And feel free to call in, ask questions, ask anything, ask why I'm wearing a freaking pink shirt. I don't really care. It's all up to you. We'll just enjoy each other's company in the meantime. If you're watching this anywhere else, if you haven't been here before, if this is your first time, please go to ClimateViewer.com and check out all my social medias, my BitChute, Rumble, Odyssey. Come over to the YouTube channel at ClimateViewer and hit that subscribe button on ClimateViewer.com if you want to support the channel. If you want to support my work, there are many ways to do that. PayPal, Patreon, and all that. And then in the links of the details of this video is the live, donation tip stream. It says Streamlabs on it. Anything you type into there will be read aloud on the screen. Please use it with caution. Use it to say something nice, or if you feel like trolling me, go right ahead. So that being said, I want to first show this pretty epic little clip that that Dominic put together, summing up the weather control argument that's going around. Cloud ionization. I'm gonna play this now. All of this is out of Dubai, United Arab Emirates, Abu Dhabi. This is a big thing out there. Because the United Arab Emirates is using that oil money to get everybody from around the world to compete to see who can make it rain in the desert, who can turn the desert green. That's a green desert.
195 كيلو من مخرج الشفية إلى وادي الفرات والربيع زي كذا.
They want to green that desert one way or another. So right now we're at this critical juncture where silver iodide has not worked. They cannot prove it works. There is no weather control. There is weather modification. They could be actually creating a drought when they think they're going to make it rain. They have no idea what's going to go on. The United States Department of Agriculture had a guy come out to Texas and started seeding with electrified water, literally just spraying electrified water out of the back of plane and using cloud ionizers as well. In the UAE, they started putting cloud ionizers on the backs of drones to make it rain. So this is the new trend.
We have started the ion generator just 10 minutes before. And you can hear the voice of it.
That snapping and popping you're hearing, that is the electricity breaking off into the air. That is how cloud ionizers work. Pretty crazy. With the cloud ionization techniques, they don't have to add chemicals. There's already chemicals up there. There's dust, there's mold, there's spores, there's bacteria, all of these things, if you just give them that static spark, those negatively charged particles, they will attract water vapor to the chemicals that are already up there, and they actually pull pollution out of the atmosphere. What do you think? You think I'm full of crap? Or do you think that maybe there's a possibility that they're all just screwing with the weather, causing climate chaos, and that they really can't control anything? They don't have power that they think they have, because control is an illusion. Maintaining the illusion of control with the illusion of power is delusion. The people that are telling all of these other, they're telling the people in Texas, hey man, you need rain. Got you. Because I'm power. We have power. We have the power of ionization and drones and supercomputers. And we know, and we can bring this to you. You'll sign this check. It's all gambling. It's all gambling. Always has been, probably will be for the rest of my life. But it is not control. Please support the channel. I hope that you guys will go over to ClimateViewer.com. Read for yourself. Go to the interactive timeline. Get up in that thing. So I hope you guys will check out that video. Links in the details. It's a short version of a longer discussion about who actually controls the weather, and can they control the weather? They cannot. And I didn't hear a single reasonable argument to the contrary. So I'm just putting that out there. I did, say, hey, if you can prove me wrong, please, do. But at the end of the day, weather modification, weather manipulation, climate engineering as it is now, geoengineering, climate intervention, whatever you want to call it, it's the same recurring theme: snake oil salesman. And that's something you're going to see throughout the near future. People that claim to be able to control something chaotic out of their control with technology, and then, oh, by the way, it's, here's the dollars, put the money in my hand, I'll make it rain for you. And not like strip club make it rain on you. You make it rain on me and I'll make it rain on you is kind of the, quid pro quo that they have going on in the weather control industry. But when you look at the past 150 years, and you can on ClimateViewer.com, just go to the interactive timeline or go look through the newspaper vault, and you will see story after story of the exact same thing. People making claims that they can control the weather, or they can control the temperature of the planet, when they control nothing. There are smart, dumb people, and there are dumb, smart people. And it's the smart, dumb people that scare the hell out of me. They think they're smart because they have an education, because they can manipulate others with their words, but they're very dumb because they don't understand their own hubris. They don't understand that they have no control, and they're willing to lie, and they're willing to experiment in the skies overhead, and they don't care about who gets hurt. And if somebody does get hurt, there is no accountability. And the only laws on the books are that you report to NOAA, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, that you're going to mess with the weather. And NOAA doesn't actually tell you yes or no you can. They just want to report. So that's all based on what's called the Weather Modification Reporting Act of 1972. You would think that there'd be some kind of, verification at least, or at least some sort of penalty if your experiment hurt somebody. That's why I've been promoting my solution, the Environmental Modification Accountability Act. Now, I want to update this act to include an argument that I made earlier called the Oppenheimer argument, which kind of goes along with a group called the Solar Geoengineering Non-Use Agreement. And their idea is pretty simple, that their idea is you can research it, geoengineering, in a lab, but never ever deploy it. And I make the argument that if, like Oppenheimer, you research a thing, once you research that technology to a point, somebody's going to use it, and now we have atomic nuclear bombs everywhere. We have radioactive waste all over the planet. Why would we allow the same thing to happen where all of these individuals, you know, have been able to contribute money to study geoengineering, and now you've got, you know, crazy people literally making a buck on geoengineering in make sunsets. So Luke Eisman, one of the owners and founders of Make Sunsets, he's just basically throwing balloons in the sky to geoengineer. And it gets kind of funny from there. I'm hoping to have, let me see if she's on here real quick. I'm hoping to have Reinette call in just a moment, and we'll get her on the air about this Make Sunsets. But it's not good. Let's just put it that way. So before going live today, I actually created a new timeline entry specifically to show, you know, everything about Make Sunsets in one spot. So what I'm going to do, and you guys can see this, it's already in the details. I'm going to drop it in chat right now because this is brand new. I literally uploaded it 5 minutes before going live. And we'll just check that out real quick together. So over on the weather modification history part of ClimateViewer, and you can find that just by going right here to weather modification features, interactive timeline. If you go to the interactive timeline, I've now flipped the script, and now all of the newest entries will be right at the top. So the very first one is Mexico bans Make Sunsets rogue geoengineering, which you can see here. And there's the Solar Geoengineering Non-Use Agreement. I have many more timeline entries that I need to update. So there's going to be a whole lot more of these coming, because basically the last entry I put in there was David Keith's ScopeX in spring of 2019. So everything from 2019 to present is going to get added in here one at a time. But this one's particularly beautiful, I might add. Mexico bans Make Sunsets rogue geoengineering. So Make Sunsets Inc. was founded in October 2022 by Luke Eisman and Andrew Song. And just so you guys know who these people are, I'll just go ahead and scroll down and show you. This is Luke Eisman, and this is Andrew Song, and this is them filling up a balloon to put it into the atmosphere to cool the planet. So we're already at the point where geoengineering has been studied enough that these two morons, and I use that term specifically, Tom Patterson Dale, they are shadow banning the shit out of this channel. Bro, you're telling me. I've been at this for 15 years, and I'm gonna tell you what, there are so many days where I've just literally said, you know what, I should just give up, because I am never ever gonna break through, because I am censored on every single social media platform. But I persist. But yeah, nailed it, dude. So these fools, you know, are filling up these balloons, and they're selling, you know, I mean, Sister Golden Hair, I don't trust a dude with a mohawk. just to be fair, like I rocked the mohawk. I mean, I did for a very long time, but yeah, and mine looked exactly like that. To be completely honest, but still, I mean, bro, they literally were using a barbecue to like a grill, a charcoal grill to burn some sulfur to make the sulfur gas. That's in the black bag, and they're squeezing it out of the black bag into the balloon right there. That's you can't make this stuff up. And this is their weather modification application. So we'll just go to that first. And you can see here, initial report on weather modification activities. Bro, it looks like a third grader wrote this. And to be quite honest with you, my daughter, she's 7 years old. She can write in cursive. And her handwriting is better than this. But nonetheless, I guess it's just, it's just a government form. Why take your time and fill it out nice? So what does he say? Project or activity designation, if any. Cooling Earth. Are you kidding me, bro? Cooling Earth. This is a very large image, as you can tell. This is full size right here. But let me zoom it back just to her. And there she is. Hello?
Hello?
Is this Reinette?
Yes, it is.
Are you watching the stream right now?
I can't. I have absolutely no internet right now. None.
Oh yeah, that's right. You're in the boondocks.
I'm in the boondocks now more than ever. Technicians coming out tomorrow. I guess our satellite's not speaking to our modem.
Well, I was just showing the good people of the internet's Meg Sunset's little application for modifying the weather. And it's pretty funny. We'll get back to that in just a second, guys. I have Reinette Senum on the phone right now, and just bear with me for 1 second, because for some reason it didn't even ring in my headphones.
Wow.
Luckily for me, I keep my cell phone like right here in front of me, so whenever you called me on the computer, I could see that you called.
Good.
So that saves the day, I guess. But Reinette Senum is part of the lawsuit, initiator of the lawsuit that I first talked about. And I'll bring this up on the screen real quick. Where are we at? It is there. So yeah, this is Reinette's latest post. Breaking GenSeven's geoengineering legal team announces pursuit of injunction against Make Sunsets Incorporated. And this follows on the video that I made a while back, Worldwide Geoengineering Lawsuits Landmark Case, where, she first put this stuff out. We have launched Stop US Geoengineering Legal Challenge. They have a Gibson Go going at Gibson Go/Stop US Geoengineering Legal Fund. And the latest announcement is that after having some discussions about I can't read your chat right now. I'll get distracted. After having some discussions about, the complexities of, suing the airline industry, NATO, all of that, I believe that you guys have laser focused in on Make Sunsets. And I think it's a great idea to make an example of Luke Eisman and his buddy. You want to talk about that a little bit? Just explain. First off, tell everybody who you are.
Sure. So my name is Reinette Senum, and I'm from Nevada City, California. I'm in the county of Nevada.
Hello, everyone.
Sacramento, Lake Tahoe, in the gold country. And I've been raised in this area since I was 4 years old. I lived in Alaska, LA, Utah. I was the two-time mayor, two-time vice mayor, and two-time city council person here in Nevada City. And I was mayor when COVID hit. And I called out some of the COVID lies I saw and became even more controversial. And then ultimately stepped down from the city council when I was ready to take my oath for the third time and actually ran for governor in the state of California.
Pause. Isn't it true that you also tried to stop 5G and everybody went batshit crazy over that?
Well, I mean, yes and no. I mean, really the majority of people in Nevada City proper did not want 5G. We have a newspaper here called The Union that would completely always misconstrue and put, outrageous headlines, and it went on and on and on. But most people actually don't want 5G in their community. And so, there's a lot of people who, let me put it this way, I've made a lot of enemies in my time. And as I've said in the
Likewise.
past, people very impressed with my list of enemies. It's like AT&T, Verizon, Pacific Gas and Electric, Governor Newsom. It goes on. So my point is that there's always a dog pile when I try to do something. But we did put in a telecom ordinance for Nevada City, but it got greatly watered down by our city attorney, because most city and county attorneys are in cahoots with telecoms, and they do everything they can to make sure that they're not that effective. So, and that, by the way, that city council, legal counsel, the attorneys, it lives directly across from me. So,
oh, wow.
We wave to each other. We keep it copacetic, but it was very.
No single digit waving.
Yes, exactly, for a while. So I have gone before the California Assembly and the Senate, even most recently, just about a week ago, and I testify against 5G, and I do tell people I'm not a Luddite. I actually had the first cell phone company store in Nevada County, California in 1990. And so it was not until years later that I began to see more and more red flags, and then realized that I was, EMF sensitive. And so ultimately, I've been fighting against 5G and the proliferation of all of these antennas, and of course, geoengineering does play a role in that. And so I was also speaking up against geoengineering before I ran for governor and before COVID hit, and have seen our skies get more and more hazy and cloud covered, and I knew something had changed. And I didn't know completely what it was, but I just knew something had changed, and you and I have now had those deep discussions. So it was ultimately...
just real quick, just so everybody knows, Friday I did part 2 of our interview with Reinette, and it should be on her Substack tomorrow.
Tomorrow afternoon. Mm-hmm.
And the links to her Substack are in the details of this video. I suggest you all go over there and subscribe to her Substack. If you are able to become a paying subscriber, she's another activist, similar to me, and that's how, we make ends meet. So it would behoove you to support people who are of action. And right. I think that Reinette is definitely acting instead of just talking the talk. And that's why, I've reached out to her to try to help her. And I hope that you guys in turn would reciprocate by going to her Substack. Go ahead, subscribe. So whenever that video hits live, you can check it out. And many of the other topics she talks about. But
yes,
go ahead.
I've been like you. I'm trying to get to the truth, and I'm not tied to any particular theory or any narrative. I just really want to get to the truth, and I want to make sure that, when my time comes and I'm no longer on this planet, that I've left something beautiful behind, and not a mess. And right now, the way it's going, it's just a mess. And so I feel very strongly, like you do, this is not going to go down on my watch. And so what happened, as we've discussed, is last winter in California, as many people may have heard, Lake Tahoe area, not far from us, because we're in the Sierra foothills. They had 60 feet of snow and even had to close down their ski resorts because their ski lifts were buried. And where I am right now on a landline where I have no internet is a little tiny town not too far from Nevada City. And when you drive down into the canyons, it looks like a hurricane had come through. It's hundreds and hundreds of trees that have just split in half like ponderosas that are built for snow. The roots are completely disintegrated 5 to 6 feet down from the surface of the soil. The trees are dying from the inside out. We've been told over the years that our trees are dying because, it's the drought. It's the drought. Well, that never flew with me because I'm right now looking at the river that I'm speaking about, and there are all these trees along the river, and they've been dying. And with all the snow we had and all this rain we had, and them being even next to the river, they're still dying. And they're dying because, as we've discussed, these heavy metals are being sprayed over us. We have had all these amazing mama warriors throughout the state of California who have collected rain and sleet, hail and snow samples, and have seen extraordinarily high amounts of aluminum, barium, strontium. They know your viewers know the list, and so when that happened, and this is the thing, is we're in fire country, and so it's really, when even like this point on until we get some really heavy rain in the winter, and it's usually months from now, you're walking on eggshells, and it's hard to leave because you don't know if a fire is going to start, and you're going to come home, and your town and your house will be gone. So it's really, it makes things uncomfortable. But winter was always our reprieve. Winter is where we could get a break and a sigh of relief and know that we're not going to end up instantly dead. So you can imagine how upset I was when a tree had, and it was a tree not healthy, and it died also all of a sudden. It had fallen right smacked out on my house and just, smashed into, but did not do much damage, damaged the deck. But 4 days later, my partner's house at 2:30 in the morning after a storm had passed, we hear this iconic crashing through the forest. We know what that sound is, and then this smash into the house that felt like a freight train, and a huge tree on the neighbor's property, which was, a tree hit a tree hit a tree, like a domino, and hit our house. And at that point in time, I was done. I'm like, I'm done. Now our winters have been weaponized. The snow is so heavy, you get a few inches, and power poles start to snap, trees start to snap. The amount is not normal. The weight of the snow is not normal, and and now we're seeing a forest dying all around us and literally crumbling before our eyes. And as you know, I've been, like many of us who've been crying this out, have been waiting for these iconic figures out there, many of us know who they are, to go do something, to take this to court, to raise the big bucks and bring this to an end. And I have been very hyper locally focused, right? I've been focusing on rebuilding my community to make it more resilient and sustainable, and I mean the mom and pop version, not the United Nations version. And I've been waiting and waiting for somebody to do it, and then finally one day I thought, well, what the hell am I waiting for? Because it's just not getting done, and I'm watching the bee population die, the birds going away. Yeah. We do not have the wildlife we used to have. Our trees are dying before our eyes, and I'm done. And so I don't have deep pockets, but I am a doer. When I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to. I'm going to see this through. The biggest challenge is, yes, we have to raise the funds. I tell people, look at guys, we have people working for free. I'm working for free. I do not get paid to do this. I will not. We have consultants working for half of what they usually get paid. We have attorneys paying for half, getting paid half what they usually get paid, and throwing in, free phone calls. Everyone's doing what they can, but it's still not going to be cheap. And so my job is to keep stirring the boat and raising the funds, and really trying to decipher, as you've mentioned, how to navigate the waters, where to start and where to go. And our discussions, we had already decided that we knew we could not go out there and out the gate take down the big guys for a variety of reasons. So we were already looking at lower hanging fruit. One of the things we were looking at was the supposed gag order on meteorologists and weather forecasters, and we thought, okay, this is easy. This is a First Amendment violation. You need a jury. A judge can make this decision. And when we began to look into it, we had our legal researchers. We had a little team of legal researchers. They were doing research, and we're trying to find the source document. We have to see, okay, if the federal government is putting a gag order on meteorologists and so on to not identify when they are seeing weather modification programs, then we need to see that source document. Well, come to find out, it does not exist. Now,
surprise.
There might be somebody out there, right?
Yeah.
Right. So there might be somebody out there, Jim, who is a meteorologist who was told that there's this gag order and they have to shut up.
Well,
and if they're out there, we want to know who they are.
That would be great for a whistleblower to come forward if that were the case. But when I went to the American Meteorological Society's, I think it was 102nd annual, it was in 2018. I went to the 21st conference on planned and inadvertent weather modification. And at that meeting, they have, like the floor area where all of the, the big names, the Raytheons, the Lockheed Martins, the United States Naval Research Lab. And I interviewed all of these people, and I interviewed a whole bunch of people, from the Weather Mod conference. But what really stuck with me, and is probably the biggest aha moment of the entire interview series that I did that year, was that when I interviewed Raytheon, I had just finished interviewing UCAR, which is the University Corporation for Atmospheric Research. They're in Boulder, Colorado. They're the leading weather modification research college in the world. And they were doing like open source, like weather stations. Well, they have this thing called AWIPS, which is an integrated weather, ingester. Let's just put it that way. And because their software is open source, Raytheon took that open source software, which can take all of the different instruments that are used to make your local weather forecast, and they made something called AWIPS 2. And the gentleman, like I was first talking to a pilot, then I started talking to the computer nerd, which of course, I'm one as well. So we were speaking the same language. He made the statement that basically all weather data that goes to the National Weather Service flows through Raytheon's AWIPS 2 software.
That's right.
So even if there wasn't a gag order, or even if there was, there are control mechanisms in place where any of that data coming from the satellites, the ground, dropsons from planes, balloons, wherever the weather data comes from, if somebody was doing secret, large-scale weather modification, they would be able to filter that out.
Scrub it out.
Before it ever even reached the National Weather Service.
Right.
Let alone made it to your local newscast. So that's why there really is no need. And I heard people harping about this gag order. We're not going to name Voldemort here on the show. He who shall not be named. But harping about this, gag order as if it's, some big conspiracy, when in reality, the deep state, the military industrial defense contractors have control of the weather, not just, physically, but digitally. So all of that information flowing through a defense contractor's software to make it to the National Weather Service, to make it to your local broadcaster. I recorded that interview in 2018. There has not been a peep about it since. So these are the types of things that, it's frustrating, but, more people understanding how deep this rabbit hole goes and where the controls are, maybe we can actually break through beyond that. But I think that, let's kind of circle back Jen Psaki style to make sunsets. The only requirement, and this is kind of pathetic, the only law on the books, regarding this type of activity is from 1972.
Jim, you have to wait 1 second. Because I'm on the landline, we have a call coming in, and I actually have to answer it. Can you wait one darn second?
I certainly can.
Okay, it's so old-fashioned. Give me a second.
I love it when people have landlines. It's so it's a beautiful thing, like, unfortunately, like where I'm at now, just having a landline, you have to get one of those VoIP landlines that like comes tied to your freaking internet. So if the power goes out, if the internet goes out, your landline doesn't work anymore. And I would love to have one of them old school.
I have essentially a dial-up that I'm on, and I just hit the old. I mean, this is literally 1970s phone.
Yeah, I want the old school hardwired. It has power in the line itself. When the whole power in the house goes out, the phone still works.
That's right, and those days are over. Now, when we lose our power, we're losing our internet. We're losing our cell phones. We're losing our phones. We're losing all power. We're losing up here our wells because they don't have electricity. I can't tell you. And we lose in our area, by the way, we've been losing, you can lose power easily for 3 weeks to a month out of a year.
Wow.
In California, the fifth largest economy in the world.
Wow, man. And they call us backwards. I'm in South Carolina. Let that be a lesson to all of you people. POTS. That's right. My man knows his terminology. POTS
So anyway,
is the old
let's
school telephone systems. But anyway.
Right. So let's talk about the gag order. So what you already knew in 2018, we have now backed up and verified. We have spoken to Attorney Richard Hearn from the National, I think, like Weather Association, who was, this is kind of where it derived from, was actually internal union, dialogue and so on, where there had to be non-disclosure agreements and so on. And so somehow it got contorted from an internal NDA into this gag order, and it's just not accurate. So we have now verified, and this Richard Hearn, the attorney, literally responded to our attorney and said, and he's the one who is the attorney on the whole entire thing. He's the source, and he says no such gag order or anything related to a gag order exists. And we're like, holy cow, thank you very much. So we moved on, and that was the low-hanging fruit. And once we got to that and said, okay, check, that doesn't even exist, we moved on to, okay, what's the next low-hanging fruit? And it became very obvious very quickly, which was make sunsets, make it too easy for us, and how egregious they are, how ridiculous they are, how immature, irresponsible they are, and that they are playing God, and to them it's like a high school project. And so we're not going to go after them science against science. We're coming at a different angle, which we cannot disclose right now, but we just we're there to set a precedent and let that be our first win and make a name for ourselves, build up street credentials, continue with the fundraising with serious donors who know we know what we're talking about, we know what we're doing, and then just keep going from there. As you know, this is not a silver bullet situation. This is a series of silver BBs, and this is going to be a series of lawsuits. And the first one out the gate, which is the most important, cannot be lost.
I agree with that. And I mean, a series of BBs can be pretty deadly. And I just say this because my brother has a fully automatic AR-15 that shoots BBs. And I'm telling you what, BBs can be pretty darn deadly if you have the right type of BB gun. But yeah, if nothing else, it would be really great to just go to one of their parties where they're having one of these balloon send-offs and get my brother's little AR-15 BB gun. Or, what should be totally legal is if we got airsoft guns, because airsoft's effectively the same thing as a BB gun, but they're plastic bullets. They're little round plastic bullets.
Right.
And as they're releasing their balloons, if we just shot them and popped them all and recorded the whole thing, that would be an epic troll.
Target practice may not be a bad idea.
I've been doing this for 15 years, and you would not believe there was a period of at least 5 to 7 years where constant commentary from the agent provocateurs in the chemtrail community that would come on and say shoot down planes and crazy crap like that. And they would try to get other people to also resonate that. And, it discredits the entire movement.
Right.
But shooting down Luke Eisman's little rubber balloons would be freaking hilarious and perfectly legal. I mean, what are they going to do? Sue you for the, $1.95 they spent on the freaking balloon?
And the chalk?
I mean, you're trying to save the environment. He says he's trying to save the environment. He's trying to sell, cooling credits.
Yeah, and he even says on his own website that they have yes, it's risky. They have no idea if it's safe or not. They don't know if it causes environmental damage, but they think it's worth the risk. It's like, well, gosh, it's great to know that you actually think of yourself as God and that you can make determinations
right?
without anyone's involvement or thoughts. So, especially when you consider these guys from Make Sunsets are not geoengineers, they're not environmentalists, they're not meteorologists, they're not scientists. They're just two guys from San Francisco who used to work for Indiegogo.com and some other, startups. I think it's called like Y Hardware, but it's this. They're just going out there, and they've made the decision that they're going to make a lot of money off the climate change boondoggle and carbon credits at our expense.
Well, it's interesting because I was going through the ETC groups page, and Geoengineering Monitor .org, not Geoengineering Watch, Geoengineering Monitor.org. And you can actually see their time, their map entries and all the information they have on make sunsets, which led me to this Time Magazine article, which led me to this absolutely phenomenal quote that is just ironic AF. So for those who don't know, Make Sunsets, Luke Eisman and his buddy right here, this is Andrew Song. And this is the Luke Eisman guy. They're doing this, and all of a sudden along comes this. But a new crisis has emerged. Silver Lining, a pro geoengineering environmental group, has gotten wind of Make Sunset's latest balloon flights and put out a press release calling their cooling credits, quote, a snake oil sales pitch, and asking U.S. authorities to stop them. Eisman is incensed. I don't understand, Mohawk Man says. He says, as we drive west out of Reno on our way to retrieve 2 balloons with tracking equipment, they're supposed to be advocating for this field. So for those who don't know, Silver Lining, the Silver Lining Project is part of the Marine Cloud Brightening Project. It's silverlining.ngo. And I think her name is Kelly Wasserman or something like. Anyway, Kelly Wasner. That's it. I knew I had it in there. Kelly Wasner is the head, the talking mouthpiece for this group. Haskell Films in the chat. What's up, man? Long time no see. Everybody holler at your boy. So it's interesting to see Silver Lining, which started out as the Silver Lining Project, which then morphed into the Marine Cloud Brightening Project. So this is actually a group that's talking about using salt water from the ocean, pumping it into clouds to make them whiter, brighter. Actually throwing shade at Make Sunsets, no pun intended, as snake oil sales pitch. Now, this is what I told you guys at the beginning of the show. Even in the early days of cloud seeding and pluviculture, they were known as snake oil salesmen. They would come from out of town. They'd say, hey, local farmers, all gather around. Y'all want some rain? I'll make you some rain. I'm a rain-making, moisture accelerating machine. And then whenever they didn't make it rain, they'd be run out of town with pitchforks and, shotguns. And I actually have newspaper articles in our newspaper section of just that, like literally photos of dudes being run out of town. Yeah, with not photos, hand drawings of people being run out of town, making these kinds of claims. And here again, we have Silver Lining Project, saying exactly that these dudes are snake oil sales. So what did Make Sunsets actually do? So they went to Baja, California, near La Ventana, Mexico, in April and in December of 2022. Now, this is important because they didn't actually create their company, Make Sunsets Incorporated, until October of 2022. So they'd already done experiments, released a couple balloons in April of that year. Then they did it in December, and that led to the Mexican government basically banning geoengineering. As you can see here, La experimentación con geoingeniería solar no será permitida in Mexico, or I'll translate that to English, experimentation with solar geoengineering will not be allowed in Mexico. This was actually a ban on geoengineering from Mexico because of Luke Eisman's stupidity, which is kind of ironic in and of itself. So that didn't stop them, getting banned by Mexico. They're like, well, fine, we'll just keep it legit and keep it in America. And that's when they filled out this NOAA form, which you can see is dated April 31st, 2023. They went ahead in February of 2023 and they released more balloons in Reno, Nevada. And then finally, after finally doing what they were supposed to do, which was notify NOAA according to the law, which they had been breaking up to this point, they then had another balloon release party in San Francisco, California, April 21st, 2023. So these guys are, basically releasing these balloons willy-nilly with no accountability. There's no science behind any of what they're doing. They're literally just filling up balloons. And on their own website, if you go to makesunsets.com, which I believe I have up right here, you can see their whole shill, story. 1 cooling credit offsets 1 ton CO2 warming for a year. And they say by purchasing a cooling credit, your funds will be used to release at least 1 gram of our clouds, in quotations, into the stratosphere on your behalf, offsetting the warming effect of 1 ton of CO2 for 1 year. We will share the fulfillment of your cooling credit after deployment on your account page. If your company wants to offset more than 1,000 tons of CO2, please enter a quantity over 1,000 cooling credits. So this cooling credits scam is ridiculous. But yes, this isn't the first time I've seen this. I actually saw this with another company called Climate Control Global Trading LLC. And they were out of the United Arab Emirates. And because I covered their company in one of my videos, I basically tore through every single website they had, because they had about 7 websites in total, which is kind of insane. And on one of those websites, they had created something called the Climate Cron. And it was a cryptocurrency for climate control credits.
Oh, man.
They reached out to me and actually tried to get me to sell their product. So we actually had some Skype calls, and I was like, look, man, if you can prove to me that what you're doing is safe and show me the technology, how your electric weather control can actually steer, hurricanes like you say you can steer them away. I was like, prove it to me. So then we had a second follow-up call where I was talking to the two, the PR guy, the CEO of Climate Control Global Trading LLC, and their science guy, who of course was Russian, because all cloud ionization people are Russian, because Tesla. It's just, you can't make this stuff up. And at the end of the day,
the thing with Sunsets too is that they're not measuring anything. They have no way to measure their feedback, to gather any data. It's there's this one quote that says it's not experimentation, it's a provocation, and it was a make Sunsets stunt, and that's how the Mexican government saw it. And so these yahoos, and they are yahoos, can have proprietary contents. So they're not going to even tell you what's in it, for Pete's sake. And there's been no environmental impact statement, which we're like, how is that legal? So they're yahoos.
They're such yahoos that in this Time magazine article, they literally show, this looks like Breaking Bad. And there's no other way to put it. The photos look like something out of Breaking Bad. It looks like a small meth lab in there. Luke Eisman experiments with creating sulfur dioxide in a hotel room. You can't make this. I'll send you. You can watch the video afterwards. The references are all on the page. I already texted you. I made the timeline entry, and it's got all these references in there. But then you see down here, yes, that's him with a Home Depot 5-gallon bucket, and that is a Weber grill, and they are literally using a Weber grill. Luke Eisman and Andrew Song use grill to burn sulfur powder and capture the smoke in a plastic bag.
I would relate it to the submarine that just imploded a few weeks back. You know, it's like it's that kind of mentality. Like I'm going to go take a tin can and I'm going to take it and drop it down 30,000 feet in the ocean and see what happens. It's that kind of a high school experiment, and it's like, are you kidding me? And so it's this kind of mentality, and it's not even, I wouldn't even say rogue. I would just say it's immature, it's stupid, it's sophomoric, and their egos need to get in check, because it's like there's no reason. They have no idea what they're doing. There's real no purpose behind it except for to make money and for their ego. And I just they're the first target because it's so egregious. It's so egregious.
Yeah. It's fascinating to me that nobody's really talked about this idea of rogue geoengineering in so long. But one of the earliest entries that I have on this subject on the weather modification timeline is the Council on Foreign Relations, of all people, were the ones who really brought this to the forefront. And let me see if I can find it real quick. I'll just put unilateral. That's the word that they use. Unilateral. Why are you doing that? Oh, because I didn't put that in. I'm not spelling it right. That's why. Are you hearing all these beeps? I didn't lose you, did I?
Nope, I'm here.
Okay. They put together a paper, and it was called like unilateral geoengineering. The idea that what if China decided by itself it was going to geoengineer? And they refer to that as rogue geoengineering. The idea that any individual, any company, or any, literally like these two morons, could decide to geoengineer. And not only would there be no way to prove they did it, there would be no recourse against them because there are no laws on the books to force them to admit to it.
Right.
And that's the scariest part for me, because we've already got past the part of, okay, putting sulfur dioxide into the stratosphere like volcanoes might cool the planet, but we do know that it will kill people if enough of it's done. It's an inevitability. With sulfur dioxide, we don't know exactly what the the chemistry that's going to occur in the stratosphere, what the long-term effects of that will be for the stratosphere, but we do know that it will turn into sulfuric acid, and that will kill people. So that's the big one for me, at least, is that there is no way to there's no laws on the books as of today to punish these people. So your lawsuit is literally the only mechanism to really stop this. And then I finally found it. So I'll drop this in the live chat for you guys. I know y'all were asking about it. Council on Foreign Relations on Planetary Scale Geoengineering. And what they said was Geoengineering Workshop on Unilateral Planetary Scale Geoengineering. And this was in 2008. And the idea was, pretty obvious that, that any one party, any country, any literally Bill Gates by himself, who just bought an airline, I might add, he could decide by himself, you know what, screw these guys. If Luke Eisman and Make Sunsets can do it, then I could do it. I mean, what's the worst that's going to happen? Nothing. I mean, that's the sad part about this.
Well, and that's what we actually, when we believe that we do believe there are protections in place. And again, I can't get into the details, but I just think really what we're dealing with is there are some protections, there are things that we can do, and we've just never had the attorneys, the legal team, or just the individual going out there and really pursuing it. And there have been some legal pursuits, but they've gone nowhere. And also some of the legal pursuits have been more for defamation. Well, like, who cares about defamation if the planet is dying? And that's what they're pursuing, is you've defamed me, and it's that kind of stuff. And so when we were really looking into what has legally been attempted here in the United States to stop geoengineering or stop the spraying of these heavy metals and chemicals, very little. I mean, shockingly little. And so again, I'm just like you. I'm one individual out of 307 million Americans, and I do not have any kind of deep pockets whatsoever. But I do have the gumption and the fortitude to just start launching this and doing it. And I have a lot of faith, and it takes a lot of that because it's a huge uphill battle. And I work on it every day. I mean, all day. It's like a full-time job. It's kind of shocking, but I just can't, like you, just sit here, sit back, do nothing, and just complain. I'm like, I'll complain, but I have to do something as well.
Bravo.
And so these guys, there are ways to, they are doing illegal things. There are things we can do to stop them. But again, I just don't think it's ever really been seriously pursued.
Well, I wish you the best of success with kicking off in Luke and Andrew's bootage, because I think that, it would set a precedent that others could follow, especially, given the fact that if there are no monetary, if there is no monetary pain inflicted on them for what they're doing, it'll only encourage others to do the same thing.
Right.
Which leads me to a little thought experiment, if you don't mind. What do you think about this? So I was sitting here giggling to myself incessantly about this whole make sunsets thing. After thinking this, so the only thing required to geoengineer is to fill out a NOAA form, because apparently that's what they did. They just filled out a NOAA form, 17-4. They literally wrote 200 years on it. It gets even funnier when you look at the other part of the other part of this application right here is that they wrote from 2/12/2023 to 3/23/2223. So expected termination date of weather modification activities 200 years from now. Target and control areas, all of Earth. like who writes that down with a straight face?
Well, and then also it's like, this is through the Department of Commerce and NOAA, and do they have jurisdiction over the whole entire planet?
No, they don't. So, right? I mean, it's a direct violation of the Environmental Modification Convention, the treaty, the Weather Warfare Ban of 1976. That's what my NMOD Accountability Act is about. They put size of area 196,900,000 square miles, all of Earth. That alone should be like, are you freaking kidding me? So this gave me this great idea, and I just want to get your take on it. I've been keeping your face up on the screen so everybody knows who I'm talking to. This is Reinette, right? So I could go and I could fill out a NOAA form, and then I can get a whole bunch of balloons. And because Guam is a U.S. territory, I could go out there, and then I could send a whole bunch of geoengineering, air quotes, geoengineering balloons up, and they'd fly over China. Do you think that might get some attention?
That would definitely get some attention. That would definitely show you how ridiculous and loosey-goosey it is. I mean, the fact that these guys applied, they might as well just said we were going to float up some living elephants and let them pee everywhere. I mean, it's just like, have you all lost your minds? Truly the fox is running and watching the hen house, truly. The fact that this even got through and nobody even looked at it and thought twice, I think it's a great idea.
The fact that it's published on NOAA's website is just like, I would have, come on, dude, you should have got that one and been like, all right, this can't be real.
Joke's up.
And they published it. That's the really creepy part.
I know.
Oh my goodness. So yeah, that's Jim's gonna need a GoFundMe for bail money. No, because I nominate Captain Tom from Guam, who's in chat right now, my chat moderator, Captain Tom. You know you're in Guam, and I had you specifically in mind for this. So I want everybody in chat to now at Captain Tom and tell him that it's his duty to troll China and all of the geoengineers on behalf of Jim at ClimateViewer.com, that we're gonna, don't tell anybody but this will be the secret part. We're not really gonna put any geoengineering chemicals in the balloons at all, but we're gonna say that we are, okay? And we're gonna launch proprietary compounds inside these balloons, and we're gonna videotape and live stream the whole event, because guess what? If you want to know who's polluting the planet the most, it's China and India. And you can go to WAQI.com, the World Air Quality Index. You can look. Tom has volunteered. Great success. So I think that we should perform the world's greatest trolling international incident by geoengineering over China. They sent a balloon over America. Let's send a couple hundred, maybe 1,000 balloons over their, airspace and see what happens. I think that you wouldn't have the same response as the dead silence that you have with Luke Eisman and Make Sunsets.
That's right.
All right, Tom's down. Tom, you're gonna have to hit me up. You know the number. Call me after the show. We're gonna set something up and be stupid, be real dumb. So before I open the phone lines to some of the other people to call in, is there anything else that you'd like to say? Of course, I brought up your Give, Send, Go. This is obviously, this part is the kind of the discovery phase, the getting the lawyers to be able to build the case, and then there'll be I'm assuming a follow-up Give, Send, Go
100%,
for the actual legal fees to
That's right. So we have
get
the legal team together. It's the best legal team you could get, and we have our website going and so on. We've got, our crews are going to help with the ground crews. We're going to be doing notice of liabilities and white papers. We have also citizen engagement. But, so now that we figured out, who we're going after, we have to look at some changes in NEPA laws, and that's the National Environmental Policy Act, and they just recently changed those. We have to see how does that apply to us, and then we start looking at the best tactic to take. And so yes, we've been successful with phase one, and that was Give, Send, Go. Would you see that? Stop U.S. Geoengineering Legal Fund, and if you go to saveourskies.org, you'll see updates there. And now we're ready for phase two, and that'll be like between another 25 to 50,000 just to get that going, and then we can file, and we're running. We're hitting the ground running.
Well, I hope you get all the success in the world. I will definitely be putting this one down in the history books of time, weather modification history, when it occurs. And I want to see, a photo of him crying in court one day in the near future. That would be great. But I appreciate you coming in here and talking to everybody. I hope that everybody else found this informative too. Go to Reinette Senum's Substack. Already dropped the link in the details. I've dropped the link in the live chat. If you can't find it by now, God bless your heart, as we say in the South. God bless your heart. So hopefully everybody will come, sign up for your Substack and follow your updates on all this. I will obviously be continuing to cover your updates on the progress with the lawsuit, and everybody look forward to our follow-up interview that we did Friday night. I believe tomorrow, you said, right?
Yep, we'll be dropping it tomorrow.
And I'll give some time for that to marinate on her Substack, and then I'll upload it to my YouTube channel as well.
Fantastic.
Just for posterity's sake. Reinette, thank you so much for calling in.
Always a pleasure. Love my conversations with you, and thank you to all the viewers for listening and watching.
Well, right now there's 105 live viewers, so there will be many more to watch this after we're not live, but this is usually a call-in show, just kind of loosey-goosey, and it gets kind of crazy in here on Sundays. But I definitely wanted to get you in here before the video came out and get everybody updated on the latest action-related geoengineering lawsuit. Not that, oh, please give me some money to fly up behind a chemtrail plane to find out what we already freaking know. How about let's actually, make some pain, some good old fashioned pain. Somebody needs a spanking, and unfortunately nowadays you need a lawyer to do. All right. Well, Reinette, I appreciate you calling in.
All right. You take care, Jim. Bye, everyone.
Definitely will. That was Reinette Senum, everybody. Big round of applause for Reinette and her lawsuit team. And that thing is wide open now for anybody else who'd like to call in. So, what do you think? Suing Luke and company from Make Sunsets, making an example out of some geoengineer wannabes, I think it's highly commendable. And I'm pretty darn excited about it, in fact. So that's a good thing. All right, let's make sure this thing is set up over here. So if anybody would like to call in now, now's the time, because if this thing doesn't ring, I'm going to tell you what. Okay, it is on. Huh. Yeah, it didn't ring at all whenever she called. I mean, I literally looked at my phone and I was like, okay. Tom, for real, I definitely want to actually troll, like, big time, because I think that would be absolutely hilarious. And yeah, I'm 15 years and I'm finally close to 30,000 subs. But unfortunately, that also means that, like on a daily basis, I'll watch it where they unsub people, and then they'll, then the subscribership will go back up, and then magically just disappears. Hey, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Rich. I'm calling from PA, Northeast PA.
What's up, dog? How you doing?
Pretty good, man. As far as the chemtrails and everything, like I am, I'm one of the admins on the site.
Do me a favor, mute your on YouTube while you can leave it playing, but just mute it.
How do I do that? What's your name? Where you calling from? I'm on a smartphone.
Oh, that means it's a dumb phone.
I'll go in the other room. I'll continue. I'll just go in the other room away from the noise. Is that better?
Yeah. Okay.
I'm on a cell phone. I'm on a cell phone, a cordless phone, watching my cell phone because my iMac blew up.
Okay.
So anyway, listen. I posted twice in the chat about surety bonds for the wind. Now, every elected and unelected official worldwide must have a surety bond. There is a list from A to Z, probably about 2,000 different surety bond insurers worldwide. If you just search surety bond companies in North America, you're going to get thousands. Okay, but here's the point: even like the school board director, anybody who was like not even every elected, definitely like the police commissioner, but also every unelected official, like the zoning officer. All politics is local, okay, and then it manifests from there, metastasizes, whatever. Mm-hmm. But the point is, worldwide, especially in Europe, where there's a lot of people smarter than the USA, Germany and England and France, they are using surety bonds to bring charges. It's called a claim/complaint against the person that violated their oath, like the people that issued and administered the jab. Okay?
Yeah.
They're having much success in Europe, but it's kept up. And mainstream media is keeping this fact on the down low. I have friends all over the world. Okay, they're not bullshitting me. The point is, there's no courts involved, no lawyers involved. A surety bond is backed by an insurance company, like your car. you have comprehensive. If the car, you hit a deer or you have a vandalism claim, you have to pay a deductible and then they pay the rest, right? Well, with a surety bond, the minimum deductible that the person has to pay, say you bring your charges against any politician for anything, they have to come up with $40,000 ASAP because the investigation is going to start immediately. And if that person can't come up like in 24 hours with that money, like sell the Tesla, sell your firstborn, whatever it takes to get 40K, it's second mortgage on a house, whatever. This is putting them on the defense like the demons did to Trump for 4 years. Every time they tried to make a move forward, they held him back with all these bullshit, impeachments and all this stuff to keep him distracted and keep him working on protecting his back door at the same time he was trying to move forward. This is what we have to do to these people, like anything to do with the CDC, the NIH, the WHO, the UN. All these people, elected or unelected, have a surety bond. Okay, and if you put a complaint/claim against their surety bond, an investigation will start immediately without lawyers and courts. So it isn't like you have to get. Oh, by the way, after you win, okay. All of the discovery used to get said win, you can use as discovery in a civil or a class action lawsuit.
That makes sense.
Okay, I mean, I'm not talking
it's a
bullshit
promise
here.
to be liable for debt, default, or failure of another. So I would assume that would also include, these weather modification companies. They should have to have something as well. Right.
And one day somebody slipped. I kind of befriended this guy. His last name was Rothschild. Okay? You can't make this shit up. This is before Gab, but I've been on there since December 2016. I befriended this guy on Facebook. His name was Rothschild, and he said he's a pilot for Kaku. Now, I imagine that's spelled C-A-K-U.
Oh, Jesus.
Kaku Airlines. Write that down. Maybe you could do some investigation on it.
Dude.
What?
You got trolled. But go ahead. Tell me. So
he said he's a pilot for Kaku, and he's doing a noble thing for the American, for the Earth, by blocking out the sun's rays. He's totally brainwashed into believing he's actually doing.
Oh, okay. Let me let you in on the secret. Okay.
Go ahead, bro.
I debated about. This was in I think 2019. A guy by the name of David Litton. He's from Echoplex Media, and he is a member of the group called Kaku.
Yeah, it's a group, it ain't an airline name?
No, it isn't. It stands for Chemtrails Are Killing Us. And they are a group of cyber trolls that specifically target anybody who talks about chemtrails.
Right.
So
he told me he's a pilot and he's doing good for the world and nobody appreciates him. They think he's a murderer.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's their MO. I mean, like
they're trying to defend their thesis, okay? Basically.
Yeah, but
we know they're trying to kill us, but
okay, do you know what 4chan is?
4chan?
Yeah, 4chan.
Yeah, well, that was before 8chan and Q, right?
Yeah, but 4chan,
or is it still around?
4chan is still a thing. So, like, in the early days of Anonymous, people would go
prior to October 17.
It's still going on today. The idea that you would go on there and you just say the most irreverent, the most trolly thing, like, the pool has AIDS. This was a true story. If you want to watch some of the antics of 4chan, one of my favorite channels on YouTube is called Internet Historian. And the internet
.com or org or what?
No, on YouTube. Type Internet Historian into YouTube and watch some of his videos, and you'll die laughing. I promise you.
What is he like a bee? What do you call it? What's that bee? Just a parody website.
Oh, like Babylon Bee?
Babylon Bee, thank you.
Well, what he does is he makes long form films about like he made a video about the Rona. He actually made 3 of them called The Virus. Varus, and
right. Okay.
you know, and he would, and they're absolutely hilarious. But
so is he just a deep state black hat, or just a parody, or just an average guy having
the internet
fun with
historian, like he's kind of, you know, I don't know how else to put it. Like I used to be a hacker. I've been a cyber guy since I was 15 years old. I'm 46.
I got my bachelor's in computer science in 1969. I was a programmer for AT&T till I got drafted to Vietnam. Okay, so I know a little, but so much has changed. I learned COBOL up to F and Fortran and CPS and autocoder and BAL.
And it became useless like in less than 5 years.
Now they use what they call C++. I don't even know what the hell it is.
Yeah, Visual C and C# and all the other Cs.
No. Everything has matured so much since I graduated. I might as well not even talk about my bachelor's because it's like a dinosaur.
Yeah, that's the thing about, you know, whether it's programming or cybersecurity, if you don't keep up on it. But a long story short, Kaku is Chemtrails Are Killing Us. It's a Facebook group of trolls, and they go out and they have all kinds of different ways of trolling. Some of it is downright nefarious. You know, I mean, I would literally say that some of the members of the group are cyber bullies, cyber stalkers.
Oh, really?
And some of them literally do it for the lulz.
They're very condescending, I'll tell you that.
Oh, I mean, super condescending. But
fucking putting me down like I'm a 5-year-old. Like, don't talk down to me, motherfucker. I got 3 college degrees. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's typical. That's the way they operate. So when I went to the EPA hearing up in Washington D.C. on flight pollution, I wrote a speech that I was going to be delivering on C-SPAN.
Right.
There's 2 places that I published that beforehand. One was metabunk.org, and that is Mick West and Mick West of contrailscience.com. He's the #1, you know, debunker on the planet.
What do you think of Dana Whittington? What do you think of him?
Hold on, I'll answer that in just a second. And then the second place that I published it was inside the Kaku Facebook group.
Oh shit!
And I said, "Look
like
here,
dropping a dirty bomb in a temple."
I said, "Look here, you motherfuckers. You guys talk a lot of shit to a lot of people, and you troll everybody. I want you to find one sentence. I will PayPal your ass if you can find one sentence out of this 10-minute, you know, thing that I'm gonna do." I said, if you can debunk one line, one sentence in this, I will literally PayPal your ass. And they couldn't. And then they went to the personal attacks and ad hominem and questioned my motivation. And, oh, you're just doing this for the money. I was like, all right, ass is whipped.
The truth has no price tag.
Right. So, I mean, at the end of the day, they had their chance. They could not, you know, defeat the speech. Same thing happened with Metabunk. They couldn't defeat the speech. I ended up debating Mick West later on.
The water samples are pretty much the proof in the pudding. You know what I mean? You know.
Real quick question from chat. What's a good chemtrail song? My favorite chemtrail song is Digital Clouds. Look it up. Digital Clouds. I think it's actually in the Must See TV on the front page of my YouTube channel, if you guys want to check that out. But yeah, chat's all over the place right now. My thoughts on Dane Wigington. I try not to think about my thoughts on Dane Wigington.
Well, you know, he's so damn serious. You know what I mean? You know, I'm starting to, don't get me wrong, too. I love Nate, that guy who does Canadian Prepper. But lately, he's been clickbaiting his headlines with emergency, you know, all this fucking, you know, all this white, you know, sensationalism to try to get people to watch his shit, you know? And, like, it's like he's making it sound like the end of the world's happening tomorrow or the next day, you know? And, like, oh, don't get me wrong, I'm a maximum prepper, but the point is, you know, there's no need to scare the women and children into watching your video when, in fact, there's nothing in the video. It was building a tiny house. that had an emergency headline. And I said to him, Nate, you got to tone down the headlines, dude. I mean, it's very misleading, and time is valuable, and you just wasted 45 minutes of mine.
I think that the most dangerous thing about Dane Wigington is that he basically he normalizes geoengineering, and he obviously he believes in global warming, and you
think so, huh?
I know he is a
but
avid
he's anti-chemtrail, so he believes in global warming.
He believes in global warming. He tells everybody geoengineering's already occurring. He says that the entire biology of the planet is going to die. Right. So what is the only way we're going to stop that? With geoengineering.
Stop the motherfuckers that are seeding the clouds with bromide and bromate.
My number one beef with Dane is this. You say that. You stop the people's your words, not mine. Stop the people seeding clouds.
Right.
So I said to him, Dane, you live in Mount Shasta, California. You live right down the road from Sacramento, which means that you are being cloud seeded by the Sacramento Municipal Utility District, SMUD.
Yep.
They paid $1 million for their last cloud seeding project. Wow. So if you're paying your water bill in Sacramento, you're paying for weather modification. Dane, if you're serious about what you're doing, then you would mention to everybody, hey, meet me downtown Sacramento at this SMUD building and let's protest.
Right.
Never a word. Not a word about
it. Well, J6 kind of put the brakes on anybody thinking about protesting. I mean, the FBI did a damn good job arresting nearly 1,000 grandmothers and grandfathers like myself.
So January 6th
be walking through the Capitol to stop the steal. He basically got fed up with the bullshit that he got. There's 137 million registered voters in the USA, yet there was 155 million votes cast. When in fact, usually an election yields 65% of the people of the 137 million.
I agree with you, but dude, let me tell you like this. No matter what it is you're trying to do, there are always going to be agent provocateurs.
Exactly.
This is the way you and I'm telling you from a person who has studied this intimately, how to shut down a movement.
Yep.
If you're gonna go anywhere and you're gonna have a protest and you see somebody show up with bricks and they say, let's burn this motherfucker down.
Right.
It is incumbent on every single individual that is there for a good purpose to put them down. Don't be violent unless you absolutely have to, but subdue them for the police. Okay?
Right.
If you participate, you've literally just damned your movement.
Yep.
It is your job to spot agent provocateurs, to know what their actions look like, to recognize the outsiders, and immediately be that loud voice to go, no violence. This motherfucker's about to, do X, Y, and Z and dogpile on them
and
then drag them to the police for you.
Spoiler alert. I just read last night that the government is entertaining the thought, I think it's still subject to vote, but it's close to winning, and especially New York State, that each person that was arrested by the police for Antifa and BLM burning cities charges are getting $9,950 each because of the police abuse, that they abuse these anarchists, and each one is going to get $99.50. And here I am, a certified first responder from 9/11 who has several disabilities since I fell into the rubble about 15 feet.
I'm sorry about that, Chuck.
All right. I volunteered with FEMA after everybody's getting rejected. And when he saw my bag, he goes, do you know how to use all that stuff? I go, yeah. So I got in.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to tell you just like Jason Aldean would tell you. Try that shit in a small town.
There you go, bro.
Because I'm telling you
There
what,
go.
that shit
You're
will not
talking
fly.
to the
I'm
small
from
town. I'm in
Sumter.
northeast Pennsylvania. I'm a mountain man up here. We have a little, we call it neighborhood watch, for
Yeah.
lack of a more aggressive word.
The irony of it is this. Like, you know, everybody sees Southerners and they're like, oh, racist this, racist that. I'm going to tell you what, my hometown, Sumter, South Carolina, 60% black. And you know what would happen if you tried that shit down here? We will all come together like glue this quick to kick your ass straight out of here. Everybody was so mad when Dylan Roof shot up that Charleston.
That was the false flag. Antioch.
Yeah, so
Tennessee, correct?
Well, no. This is maybe I'm confused.
Dylan Roof, wasn't that in Antioch, Tennessee?
I'm talking about Charleston. I thought Charleston, South Carolina. Am I?
Oh, you could be right. I could be getting them confused, but there were two separate events. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, Dylan. I'm pretty
sure. The
sure.
Christian Church in Antioch, Tennessee.
Yeah, well, I'm right, Dylan. You made me double check myself, but yeah, Dylan Roof is an American white supremacist neo-Nazi and mass murderer convicted of perpetrating the Charleston church. Anyway, during the Freddie Gray, during the Ferguson, during all of these other, you know, they were
like
burning.
Barry said, Ferguson, he could have been my son.
Hold on.
Guys
let me make my point, then you can respond. That while every other place around America was burning to the ground because of some kind of racial shooting, this dude goes into a black church and shoots up the place, and the liberal media was fit to be tied. That literally white people and black people came together in that church, hugged and prayed and cried together, because in South Carolina, that shit ain't gonna fly. No. And that's
they don't realize. They don't realize how many black friends we really have. I mean, I'm 74 years old, and I still have the same black friends I went to high school with. Okay, and like we laugh at the bullshit going on. Say, yeah, man, the government wants you to hate me and me to hate you. And see, divided they win. You know, if we're united together, we win. If we're divided, we fall. They're trying to turn us against each other. And in some ignorant places where you have an ignorant subjects, yes, it's working, but it's not working with us old timers that still have good, decent black friends. I mean, you know, the Civil War, the black and white fought side by side, bro. You know, here we are.
Man, history is a fickle bitch. And it's,
well, the most interesting thing in history, listen to this, 1946, August of 1946, Athens, Tennessee. They tried to pull this bullshit where I think it was a mayor, it was being elected. It's something you could watch a YouTube video on it, where the guys had just come home from World War II, and these guys were callous, okay? They didn't do any bullshit, they didn't play bullshit. They went down to the armory, they loaded up all the pickups with guns and shit, and they dragged the politicians out. The politicians ran to hide in the jail, and they held up in the jail for a while. The guys who was in demolitions blew the door off the jail, went in, grabbed the crooked politicians that were going to count the votes in secrecy, you know, because it isn't who voted, it's who counts the votes is the bottom line. And it's a very interesting story. You don't have to go back 200 years ago when civilians like you and I would drag politicians from their home, have a 23-person jury in the street, have a trial, and lynch the son of a bitch, you know, right there in public. But we don't do that anymore, but it happened in 1946 again. It's just that it's got to happen again. I'm sorry, but, you know, I'm not a violent man, but I save lives, not take them. But this bullshit's got to stop. And, you know, they're trying to suppress us from moving forward by using J6 as an example. It's got the you know, the shit scared out of anybody just thinking about protesting.
So I need to take some other calls, but I want to leave you with this. And this Haskell Films, for you guys that don't know, I'm going to drop his link in chat. You know, you guys should be able to just click on him. That's Chris Haskell. He's really hitting on something here, and I'm going to just read what he
Haskel?
Yeah, it's HASKELLFILMZ. Chris is talking about, because I've been in this long enough. I remember all the things. Fact, Dane was buddies with Michael J. Murphy, and Dane shut him down, attacked him on all fronts. So Michael J. Murphy was the creator of What in the World Are They Spraying? if it were not for that film, there would not
Really?
be a Dane Wigington.
What year is this?
This was
08.
it was a while ago, dude.
08, but 2010
Yeah,
maybe?
I mean, I'm thinking it was like 08. The original's not even going to be up there anymore. What in the world
Right.
are they?
Well, the Wayback Machine does help a lot.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times, but it's
A
not
lot of
very
times.
good for you. There's the Barry
No.
Kolsky one. This is 12.
You know,
This says
just
12
one
years
little thing I
ago.
want to throw out to you.
It's 12 years ago,
little-
and I want you. No, I want to make my point here, dude.
Go ahead.
So you see this reality zone at the beginning? That reality zone, that is G. Edward Griffin. Okay?
I heard.
So if you don't know who G. Edward Griffin is, I'm gonna break off some knowledge for you. A little bit of history, real quick. I was Chris, you deserve to be a mod. I mean, everybody should know who you are. We go way back. I appreciate you, dude. Chris went to jail, man. I mean, Chris been through hell.
Been there, done that.
Yeah. So basically, G. Edward Griffin put up the funding for What in the World Are They Spraying? Michael J. Murphy was the creator of the film. Dane Wigington was featured in the film. Because of What in the World Are They Spraying, Dane Wigington gained popularity.
Yes.
Then in 2016, yeah, for real.
This almost sounds like a Zelensky story, you know that?
In 2016,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that son of a bitch rose to power.
Yeah. So in
You know, like being
2016,
the actor as a president of Ukraine in a movie, and then knocking Poroshenko out of office in 2014, it's like totally, it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's very, very strange, but real.
you sound a lot like Ed Griffin, your voice, honestly. But anyway,
Really?
you do. So 6 years ago, I went to this conference, and it was geoengineering. It was at Ed Griffin's, and I'm gonna put it up on the screen for everybody, just so you guys know this, that I'm not bullshitting the story I'm about to tell you. I gave a presentation by Jim Lee of ClimateViewer News, given at the Freedom Force International's 3rd Congress in Phoenix, Arizona, December 3rd, 2016, at G. Edward Griffin's Global Warming and Inconvenient Lie.
Oh, okay.
And I
that
asked,
that was detecting Al Gore.
yeah. So when I went to this thing, I had no idea. I was like, first of all, I didn't know who G. Edward Griffin was. And I didn't know why he picked me, but he said, I'm going to fly you out here because we're talking about global warming, because I want somebody to talk about chemtrails and geoengineering, and you're the only guy who can do this.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked him, I said, well, you know, afterwards we got to talking about it. And I said, everybody on this stage that's giving a presentation has a PhD, and I have a high school diploma. Why'd you pick me?
Right.
And he said,
they don't teach common sense to
yeah,
in
he
college,
said,
right?
I created Dane Wigington.
Better shoelaces.
Either there's an echo or you have a problem listening. I said to him, he said to me, I created Dane Wigington and I regret it.
Whoa.
And that's a pretty serious freaking statement.
Yeah.
And
he's like a Benjamin Fulford in a way, with the sensationalism and like all of the urgency all the time. I call it clickbait.
yeah. And Ed Griffin is a modern day American hero. He wrote The Creature from Jekyll Island, the definitive book on the creation of the Federal Reserve. He is now since doing the Freedom Force International's congresses, he's now created what's called the Red Pill Expo, which goes on every single year. So what I went to then morphed into the Red Pill Expo, and he brings the best speakers
Where's that
possible.
held, Where's that held, the Red Pill Expo?
Go to Red Pill Expo and look at the website. He has them sometimes twice a year. But like I said, Dane was in the film. He wouldn't have even, I don't need to go into the private section. I'm actually a member of this.
Assumption, but the point is, he wouldn't be anything unless he got exposure in this.
Right. And then what happened was they were going to make a third film, and basically Michael wasn't doing very well, and Dane went on the attack and basically told everybody that Michael was taking the donations for the third film and putting them up his nose.
Ooh.
And he did everything he could to destroy Michael Murphy, and Michael Murphy lost his life. So even if
OD or somebody kill him.
Even if what he's saying is true, and Michael had a drug problem,
right.
What kind of sick motherfucker would beat somebody that hard when they're down?
Really?
That literally gave them the opportunity to get to where they are.
And issues about his own identity.
He also, another good friend of mine, God, I just had a brain fart.
Okay. I get them all the time.
It's one of those things.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord, I'll go to my freaking email. It's that bad right now.
Okay.
Chris
Haskell, that film for Digital Clouds, that's on YouTube. If I search that on YouTube search bar.
Yeah. That's David. David something. Having another brain. I can't do too many things at once. Apparently now. What you guys don't know is that I literally took a Flexeril and 6 ibuprofen, and I've had a migraine since before I started the show. That's why my eyes are like this. So I'm looking away from the light. I'm a tough son of a bitch. I'm gonna do this no matter what.
Listen. There's 3 things that you could take, but don't take all 3. You could take ginkgo biloba, which is a blood thinner. Okay, you use it for increasing
Max
memory.
Bliss.
Or you can take ginger root capsules, or you can take turmeric. Now, you can take the turmeric and also the ginger root with an aspirin. Get the hell away from ibuprofen. It's a COX-2 inhibitor. Actually,
yeah, I know. My wife is on my ass about it all the time.
Stop taking ibuprofen. Just take aspirin. And as far as blood thinners, turmeric, natural, and so is ginger root. And once you thin your blood, you get rid of the migraine. I used to get them severely. Just give me a dark, quiet room and I'm good.
My problem is that ever since I had my thyroid removed,
and you stay away from iodine too.
Well, no. Ever since I had my thyroid removed, I've had a pinched nerve. I've got several callers, Chuck. I need to take.
Okay, bro.
Hey, man, great call, dude. Definitely call back.
Great talking to you, man. Good talking to you.
Good talking to you too, man.
Okay, man. God bless.
All right. Hey, 671. What's up, man? Who am I talking to? Where you at?
You got Tom here. Cap.
Is this Captain Tom?
It sure is, brother. Let's do it.
It's about time I finally get to hear your voice, man. So you're down with trolling China and the American government.
Oh hell yeah! Oh hell yeah! You are the engineer on this here project, but here's the deal: the trades that run from east to west are below 10,000 feet. So figure up the chemical composition of the balloon, so it gets there.
I was like, I mean, I'm not an atmospheric scientist, but I was going, if I wanted to send something over China,
yep,
Guam is the perfect place to do it, and it's an American territory, which I guess
it's 1,000 miles away.
It's not too hard. I mean,
no, it's not.
And I mean, they said that geoengineering could potentially begin World War III. So I figured, as the greatest troll in human history, we could raise awareness of geoengineering and how stupid it is and how easily it could be done by just shooting a bunch of balloons up over. Go ahead.
And we could put in little fake cameras and stuff to carry, and say, "Hey, we're watching you."
Make them spy balloons.
Right. And put messages on it like "Ni hao" from the USA. That's "Ni hao" means hello from in Chinese.
We're gonna write little notes on there. "Ni hao, motherfucker," and and send them out, and then stream the whole thing live. You know, like I don't know, we wouldn't be able to get the video back, but I mean, at the very least, you know, just like send notes like, hey, you know, each one's got a note on it that says something like, we're tired of you polluting the whole goddamn planet and trying to control the weather of the whole planet. Could you please stop? By the way, from America with geoengineering and love.
Reminiscent of a World War II messages put on the 1,000-pounder bombs.
Like, it's like nose art on steroids.
There you go. I'm loving it, man. What was the name where the guy's riding the nuke down to Earth? That movie.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that'd be freaking priceless. It'd be absolutely freaking priceless.
Yeah. If we can do it anyway, Jim, let me know. I'm in a perfect place to do it. I'm up on a hill. I'm about not real high. I'm about
I don't know how this came to me. It just it was one of those, you know, like just freak moments where I was going, well, wait a minute. If this son of a bitch can do this and get Mexico to ban geoengineering, then we could send them from Guam and maybe get, you know, China on board with, hey, maybe this, you know, geoengineering is a bad idea. Maybe we should put a stop to it. I don't know what the actual results of it would be, but damn, it would be funny.
It would be.
And at the very least,
up for it.
If somebody comes and interviews me about it, I'll be completely honest with them and go, no, there was nothing in those balloons. What are you stupid? Are you stupid? Geoengineering is dangerous and should be illegal.
Yeah.
And anybody that does anything like this should be thrown in jail forever and pay billions of dollars in fine.
They have to be red. They have to be red balloons. You know, a red flag about geoengineering. Yeah, and it would gain worldwide attention.
We need 99 Luft balloons to geoengineer over China and troll them very hard.
Yeah. Shoot, let's do it. Helium's expensive here on Guam.
Yeah, I would imagine so. Everything's probably more expensive on Guam.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's probably about twice the price. You know, but the helium is not that expensive, but you know.
Well, you know,
US has a lot of it.
Let me make sure. Hold on, I want to make sure I message you because I gotta save these.
Yeah, save my number, and I don't have your phone number, so give me a call back.
Does this number take texts?
Pardon me?
Does this number take texts? Is this a mobile?
Yes. This number is good. It does everything. I don't use the text. I use WhatsApp because the text costs me. It's a long distance.
Yeah, it's not letting me text you either. All right, so I'm just gonna, I'm gonna grab your number real quick, throw it in Sublime text real fast, so that I got it.
Yeah, that's a problem that I have here on Guam. I can't post links sometimes. It gives me a whole fills up the box and then some, you know, like 500 characters of code whenever I try to post a link sometimes, you know.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I don't know why.
They throw these little symbols in there that are hidden symbols. It's a Google thing that they constantly do. I can actually show you. Here, let me.
All right.
I'll put it up on the screen right now, but you can't see it unless you actually have a coding.
I got it stopped right now. Let me put you back on. Hang on a second, and I will hit the M. There we go. Okay, bring you back up to speed, up to the point up here. Boom.
All right.
Okay, I'm up to speed now.
I'm blocking out your number, but I just literally copied your number straight off the webpage.
All right.
And this is what it looks like. And here we go. That's what's actually there. So
I must be on the delay.
There is a delay. So. It's like probably about 36 seconds, but basically it's like your phone number and then less than 0x202C greater than. They're hidden characters that Google uses to break up things. and they're all in some of these things. Like
I see it now. There we go.
I literally just copied your number from the
Oh,
Google
wow.
Voice number from the Google Voice webpage, and that's what came up.
And
Like-
this is because they know about me. I'm on the list. Am I correct?
I don't know why they do it. I know they do it to censor things all the time, and they use it to break URLs. They use it to break up content.
Okay.
Another example, and I'm gonna do this real quick, is like you'll go and you'll type Geoengineering.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, AI's working hard.
And that way, whenever the search engines are, trying to find your posts, or if somebody's Googling something, this is not geoengineering anymore. Computers don't see it that way. This is a hidden character.
Huh.
And I've found this many times, copy pasting things all the time. So that's
There it is again. I see it.
Yeah. So that's whenever I know this because for those who don't know this, Google owns WordPress. So if you're on WordPress.com, you're basically on a Google product. And my ClimateViewer.com used to be on WordPress. And whenever I, got tired of dealing with all of the, shenanigans and people hacking my website and governments, I mean, literally Fort Huachuca, US Cyber CENTCOM took my website down one time. I decided I was going to handwrite my website, so I code it as a flat file, so it cannot be hacked. There's no logins, there's no passwords, there's no nothing. When I exported all of my data from WordPress, I found that almost all of the keywords or important things, or even some of the links that went to, military documents and things like that.
No.
This symbol was literally just all through there. These symbols.
Wow.
And that's when I first discovered this little hidden trick that they have to break up your content and then hide it away for good.
Okay.
But at the same time, I was trying to just do a checkup, and I was like, let's see, if all of the work I just did to ClimateViewer.com made a difference. And I want you guys just to see this. So I'm going to type the anatomy of slave speak. All right. I'm going to go to Google. All right. I'm going to go to Google, and first there's Goodreads. Then there's Facebook. A freaking Facebook page is number 2.
Oh, wow.
According to Google. There's only 52 results. Okay. There's only 52 results on the anatomy of slave speak on Google. Okay. Facebook, Scribd, Booklines, YouTube, Reddit, Institute of Health. Oh, look, there's ClimateViewer.com, but it's not even the article. It's, it's my propaganda page. Okay.
I have noticed this when I'm trying to use Google. This stuff is coming up all the time.
Now watch the difference. Okay. So it brought it up because right here at the very top, I mentioned the anatomy of slave speak article. If I go and I do the exact same thing, this is mind blowing. Bing.com, anatomy of slave speak. First entry, ClimateViewer.com. Yahoo.com, anatomy of slave speak. Oh, it's changed. It's changed since yesterday, bro.
That's strange.
I mean, dude, that was literally yesterday.
They've got the time machine now. I just saw that on. The CERN opened up a time loop or something, right?
Yeah.
God. Heaven help us.
Oh, Lord, man. They just make it worse every day. But I literally was going through, just yesterday, I went through every single other search engine, and it was the first entry on every single search engine, and I go live, and suddenly, bam.
Yep.
Oh, what a day, man. I swear, SEO is going to be the death of me. Anyway, Captain Tom, it's been good finally getting to talk to you, man.
Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate you too, and all the work you're doing. And never give up the ship, bro.
Oh, you know that. You know that, dude. And
I know that about you.
I know I'm trolly with the idea of shooting a bunch of balloons off, but if I can actually figure out how to keep my ass out of jail for doing it,
well,
I'll
what's illegal about it?
I mean,
Do I have to get a permit?
It'll be an international incident. I mean, apparently not. If Luke can freaking if Make Sunsets can just fill out a NOAA form and then do it, that's all that's necessary. I mean, you did tell him you were going to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, I would literally write down the same shit he wrote down. You know what I mean? Project area, Earth. Purpose,
yeah, exactly.
Cool planet. I mean, it almost sounds like a joke, like it's a troll, but they literally did it. So yeah, that's what I'd like to see happen. But anyway, man, I'm gonna wrap this thing up and I'm gonna go get something to eat.
Okay.
My kids just got home and I got a 50-hour work week ahead. But man, it's epic to hear your voice finally. You've been in chat forever, dude.
Thank you,
I appreciate you always being here, man.
Thank you, sir. Very much. All right, I'll let you go. Have a good one and much love from Guam.
I appreciate it, man. Love you too, bro. Wow. Captain Tom finally calling in. Been a long time. Have never heard him actually, his voice. Just seen him in chat damn near every single video. So apparently he figured out how to beat the notification system or just show up at 6 on Sunday. Well guys, this was a fun little discussion. I'm gonna wrap it up. Like I said, I have been dealing with a migraine since I woke up this morning, but that, not gonna let that, kill the fun spirit and kill the information. If you guys want to learn more about this whole, make sunsets thing, all you have to do is go over to ClimateViewer News and at ClimateViewer.com. I'll put the link in the chat just so you guys can read more about it. And all the other links are at the bottom of the details on this show right now. And please, if you can, support the channel. We broke over here. It may not look like it. I put on a happy face and make everything shiny, and I'm very diligent about my computer graphics and making the websites look good and all that. But I am literally a single father of a wife of 23 years. I have a 13-year-old daughter and a 9-year-old daughter, and I'm the sole provider for the family. And I'm only able to do this in the evenings when I have the spare time. And any of that time is taken away from my family, the little time that I have. And I spend a lot of time working on the website. So every donation that you guys give is greatly appreciated. It goes to helping out my family. Thank you all for tuning in today, being a part of the conversation. I have been reading chat. If you guys ever see me not looking directly into the channel, it's because I'm staring at the chat. Like, I can't help but, read every single comment coming in. And I can't comment on all of it because that would be basically the whole show. But big ups to everybody in chat. You guys make it the best for certain. I've been watching you watching me this entire time, and I appreciate every single one of you guys. If I have any metal in my mouth fillings, man, you're kind of hitting the nail on the head, but I don't really want to get into it today. But let's just put it this way. I'm at a critical point in my life where I went to the dentist and they basically said, look, the few teeth you have left need to come out because your family has a history of heart attacks. My cousin died at the age of 52 of a heart attack. His father died at 56 of a heart attack. I literally have maybe 7, 8 teeth left in my mouth. The rest are partials. And the fact that I can talk as well as I do is because I have practiced so much trying not to let you guys know that my dental problems are so bad. But I can't go to mixed martial arts anymore. I can't, take this other job because I'd like to get a retirement. Right now, I'm a private security guard. I have a gun on my hip. But I could get a police retirement. And unfortunately, with the way my mouth is right now, one good whack and I have nothing to eat with left because it's mostly metal in there. So I talked to the dentist about it and they were like, well, to put 2 implants in and then make dentures, it's going to be anywhere from 7,000 to 10,000 for the bottom ones and probably another, 10 to 15,000 to do the top. And I will never have that money. And I've been talking to some people about it and they're like, hey, just do a GoFundMe, tell people the truth. And the problem is I'm from South Carolina and we have too much pride to, beg. But I'm in pain every single day from these things. And it does make it difficult sometimes to speak. And it's definitely not helping with the headache. I can tell you that much. And I certainly don't want to die from a heart attack because I was too stupid to, not go ahead and get all of this plaque out of my mouth, which can lead to, cardiac arrest, strokes, things like that. Wow, I should not have said any of that. But anyway, this is live and that's how things be. So yeah, one day in the near future, I may need to, I'm at the point now where I want all the teeth out of my mouth. Just get rid of them. I've had too many health problems and this is another one I don't need. And right now with the migraines, since I had my thyroid removed and the problems in my neck, I go to the doctor this Thursday or on Wednesday, and I'm going to see if they can do a CAT scan or something and figure out what the hell is going on. Because yesterday I just changed a tire on my trailer and then shoveled some leaves, and suddenly I'm, once again back in this monstrous migraine coming from the back of my neck. And I think it's called the thought it was called the infraorbital nerve, but that's not it. Occipital nerve. But yeah, so gonna have to figure that one out.
Love you, mean it.
Oh man, up in CT, thank you. Love you too. Well, y'all, I that's where I'm at. Evil Vaughn, get implants. I just want to get 2 implants. That way, at least, if I get a denture, that it's not, I don't have to use some kind of zinc to glue them in place the rest of my life because that stuff's poison. So at least with an implant, it's permanent. You know what I mean? And I could take them out if necessary. I could put my mouth guard in. I could go back to mixed martial arts. I could stay in shape that way. But yeah, there's a lot of problems right now with between my neck and my mouth. I don't even want to, don't get me started. Let's just put it that way. Yeah, icing the back of my neck. That's really where it kind of, it's right in the center at the top of my spine. But apparently it's a common thing related to people who've had a thyroidectomy. Private number calling. Almost scared to answer. Hi. Who's this?
Oh, I'm sorry, I got the wrong number.
Oh, no problem. Yeah, let's go ahead and just hang that up before something bad happens. Anyway, guys, I love you, mean it. You can go to a dental school and they might do it for free. Well, right now, August 10th, I have an appointment with a dentist down in Charleston who may be able to help me out with that sort of thing. And I'm going to wait and see what happens, but it can't come soon enough. Anyway, I love you guys and I mean it. I thoroughly enjoyed talking about all of this Make Sunset stuff, and I hope that Reinette and company are successful in suing him. That would be pretty epic. And I got some other videos, coming up this week you guys probably will like. Was that you, Chris, that called? He said, surprised you bothered to answer. Anyway. Oh, Lord. Chat, y'all killed me. All right, well, I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to go ice the back of my neck, take these contacts out, put ice on my eyeballs, and just basically wish this day would go away. Thank you all for tuning in. Sometime this week, I will be posting the video interview I did with Reinette. I think you're going to find it hella informative. It went really well. So I'm looking forward to showing you guys that. And I got some other things. I'm going to keep them secret till I actually post them. So more to come. Thank you all for tuning in. Love you, mean it. Remember, with information comes power, and with power comes great responsibility. So please use the information that I provide on ClimateViewer.com, ClimateViewer.org, and all them damn social medias owned by the Silicon Mafia that, shadow bans me anyway, to attack ideas, not people. If the video resonates with you, leave me a comment because I love hearing from y'all. First time here, be sure to subscribe and click the bell. Yeah! Remember, it would be impossible for me to do this without your support, so please join my Patreon or buy me a coffee on PayPal. And always, attack ideas, not people.